ESPN reported people inside the Mavericks are scared. Fear exists that Doncic, who publicly and privately expressed extreme frustration this season, could consider requesting a trade as soon as the summer of 2024. Now, to be fair, Luka came out and said he is not requesting a trade.
I didn't know that was true. I didn't say it.
But that's how he feels today. So much can change in 1 year. Last year, Dallas in the West Finals. Now, out of the playoffs with a healthy Luka. If they are awful again, it could happen. After next offseason, Luka will have 2 years left on his deal plus a player option. We used to think that 2 years out was too early to demand a trade. Then Anthony Davis requested a trade with over a year left and got his wish. James Harden forced his way out of Houston with 2 years left. Now we got guys like Kevin Durant demanding trades with 4 years left on their deal. Luka is absolutely in danger of leaving, but it would take a historic trade package. We have never seen a guy this good, this young leave since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1975. There are just 5 teams that could realistically make an offer for Luka if the Mavs are awful. So the pressure is on to get better, and the number one way is through the draft this year. But the Mavs are being investigated for tanking. They chose to sit 5 players on the final day to get a draft pick instead of make the play-in against the Pelicans. How bad would it be if the NBA punishes them by taking away that draft pick? That would be so ironic. But why are they getting investigated in the first place? Plenty of teams tank. The Blazers shut down Dame. The Jazz clearly trying to lose games. It's because they did it so openly, like a slap in the face to the NBA. Coach Jason Kidd said, with this decision to rest key players, this is maybe a step back, but hopefully it leads to going forward. They said starter Josh Green was out for rest. I mean, at least say he had a headache. And by the way, it's a lot worse to tank when you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I mean, Luka becomes superhuman in the playoffs, and they say, no thanks, we're good. So the NBA might take away the pick that they tanked for. But right now, they have the projected number 10 pick. That could change though, because the way the draft works, there's a chance they jump up to get Victor Wembanyama. I know that sounds crazy, but check this out. The Mavs have a 3% chance to jump up to number 1, a 14% chance to be in the top 4, which sounds impossible, but in 2011, the Cavaliers had a worse chance, 2.8%, and they got Kyrie at number 1. 3 years later, a 1.7% chance they jumped up for Andrew Wiggins. The Bulls had a 1.7% chance when they got Derrick Rose at number 1 in 2008. But the luckiest team of all time was the Orlando Magic in 1993. They had a 1.5% chance for number 1, but it hit. So the Mavs' 3% chance doesn't sound all that bad. Can you imagine Luka, Kyrie, and Wembanyama? The Mavs would be the luckiest franchise of all time. So just for fun, I ran an exact draft simulation 10 times through tankathon.com. Number 1, they stay at 10th. Try number 2 at 10th. Try number 3, same thing. And at one point, I actually checked to see if I did something wrong because they keep hitting at number 10. Number 9, 11th, which is horrible because they fall out of the top 10 and send their draft pick to the Knicks. But hey, one last try, 10 times, right? Number 1? What? I swear to God, I did not rig this thing in any way. When that 10th try hit number 1, I literally gasped. So yes, it is possible, but most likely Dallas will be the number 10 pick and take somebody like Taylor Hendricks, who looks good now, but let's be honest, rookies almost always suck right away. So they will be forced to offer Kyrie the max because there aren't a lot of ways to improve. The biggest mistake was letting Jalen Brunson go to the Knicks, but Mark Cuban wants everyone to know that was not his fault. He said the Knicks hiring Jalen's dad made it impossible. Things went south when the parents got involved. Oh, which might be true, but that doesn't excuse having Jalen Brunson on your team for 4 years and not extending him. They were around this dude every single day and didn't see what they had. That's not on the Knicks or the parents. That's on the Mavericks. And for Cuban to try to pawn this off on other people was embarrassing. But guess what? The Knicks are one of the teams who will be in prime position to get Luka if he demands a trade. But it's important to mention that this is not all on the Mavs front office or Mark Cuban. This season was a team-wide failure, including Luka himself. Dude's amazing on offense, but his conditioning keeps him from being elite in other ways. You know, if Giannis was on this team, he would have drugged them to the playoffs. Now, the two teams that did not make the list to get Luka are the Nuggets and the Raptors. If Luka demanded a trade, people would automatically think Nuggets because of his relationship with Nikola Jokic. And it would be so much fun to have both of them on the same team because I think the Joker can play with anybody, which is good because Luka, we have seen, can be a tough fit. But when you look at their trade assets, they have no picks to send out. All they really have is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And I'm sorry if Luka's buddy is on the team, the Mavs would have so many better offers. The Raptors do have Scotty Barnes and picks to trade, but I don't think Scotty is a good enough centerpiece to a deal. So let's get to the top 5 teams that could realistically trade for Luka. Number 5 is the Celtics. They would have Jaylen Brown plus all their future first-round picks, except for 2028, which is a swap with San Antonio. The reason they are here is Jaylen would be the best available player if Dallas wants to compete right away and not totally rebuild. Number 4, the Jazz, who have 11 future first-round picks after the Rudy Gobert trade. They also have role players like Walker Kessler, an all-star in Lauri Markkanen. The only question is how much does Dallas value picks? Because the draft can be a crapshoot. I don't care if it's 11 picks. Normally, teams want good players and picks, like what the Pels got for AD or what the Nets got for Durant. So number 3 is the Knicks. Not only do they have 7 first-round picks and 4 swaps, they have RJ Barrett and the built-in chemistry with Jalen Brunson. Can you imagine Luka seeing the dude that he just went to the conference finals with in a big city like New York? My only concern is Mark Cuban having bad blood after how the Brunson deal went down. Would he really trade his best player to that franchise? Number 2, the Pelicans. They have 8 first-round picks, including their own, plus 2 from Milwaukee and 1 from the Lakers. But they also have a win-now player, Brandon Ingram, and good role players like Herb Jones. The perfect package. So why aren't they number 1? Because Zion's health is a huge question mark. Luka would be a great fit with Zion, but we have no idea if that's even possible. But the number 1 team is the Thunder. 12 tradable first-round picks. Players like Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. Do they think Luka might not fit well with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who also likes to have the ball? Maybe they trade SGA. OKC has been stockpiling assets for years to make one big move. Now they are in the best position to get the best traded player since Kareem. Keeping Kyrie is a huge focus for the Mavs because, again, they must be better next year. But there are only 2 ways this can go. I did a deep dive on where Kyrie could go if he leaves Dallas or what it would take to keep him. Check it out.